Welcome to the Wellness Witches Whimsy podcast, your go-to sanctuary where magic meets mindfulness and holistic health gets real.
Join us, your hosts, Shade and Vanessa, as we dive deep into the realms of real life, trauma healing, whole foods, and the profound connection between mind, body, and soul. Hi, everyone! We are so excited. I think that we want to first just say thank you so much for the overwhelming response of positivity and love and light that you guys sent to us on our very first podcast episode. It was a really incredible experience already.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So it feels so great to see people being interested and listening and commenting, and it just warms my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. The feedback that we're getting is really great. Everyone jumped on it right away to listen, which of course, we greatly appreciate. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, so we're really excited. So today we're going to talk about the holidays because, of course, it's Thanksgiving week, and I feel like a lot of people navigate the holidays in fight or flight mode pretty regularly, right? Yeah. So we're going to kind of talk today about navigating family, navigating potential traumas, and navigating food because it's Thanksgiving, so why not? So we were kind of talking a little bit ago, about where we wanted to go with the podcast episode today, because there's so many different facets and things that we could talk about when it comes to the holidays and when it comes to how people experience it, because of course everybody's different and they're going to experience it in different ways. So I think we should start with the affirmations, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay. So one of the things that we figured we would give our listeners right away is a little, it's going to be a little sheet that you can download so that you can keep it on your phone during the holidays. I would highly recommend you saying it to yourself in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So right away in the morning on Thanksgiving Day, it would be a really awesome thing for you to say. And then before you go into whatever family member's house, while you're in the car. If you have a significant other, if you have kiddos that are at a mature age where they can do these with you, it would be a beautiful thing. I am affirmation statements with my children, and my youngest is 6. So she has the ability to participate. And then probably at night, just to reaffirm everything that happened.
Yeah. Maybe even a cleansing mantra too. I really like that. And I like what you said, to say it out loud. Yes. What a difference. I have some in my shower that I have laminated. So that's a spot that I know I'm focused. I can say it out loud. I don't have anybody what are you doing? Even if they did, I don't care. Right. And then, say it out loud in the car. And then even as you're walking in, if you need to say it in your head, just to keep reaffirming.
Yeah, look at it on your phone.
Yeah.
I mean,
everybody's going to have their phone.
Yeah.
Be sitting there watching football okay, the stress level's hitting. Let me say a few of these things and see how I feel. Take some cleansing breaths. Yeah,
for sure. So this is what I give to my running clients, but I also give it to my regular clients. The biggest thing that you can do, and this is that could be a whole episode on its own, breath work. Yeah. But even if you take 3 big inhales through your nose, out through your mouth, and you do that 3 times, it actually resets your nervous system. So you have your parasympathetic nervous system, and then you have your sympathetic nervous system. When we're in fight, flight, or freeze mode, when we're in high levels of stress, we're in our sympathetic nervous system. And what we can do is when we breathe, we reset ourselves.
Yes. The breath is an amazing thing. Like you said, I do it with my clients. That's the first thing we come into a session, let's do some breathing. And then I'm getting coached too. Because it's oh, this gave me a moment to take a breath too. And just kind of reset. Like you said, you're getting into that.
Yeah, it's stressful. Our body doesn't recognize the difference between good stress and bad stress.
Yeah.
And for our bodies, we just need to figure out ways to cope with it and to remind our body, to remind our physical body, to remind our mental body we're safe. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, right? So affirmations are super beneficial because you're pretty much talking to your conscious state and your subconscious state. And so in the morning when I do my I am affirmations, I do it in the mirror.
Oh,
and
yes.
I teach my clients to do it in the mirror.
Yeah.
You're going to look at yourself in the mirror. I start my morning every single morning looking at myself in the mirror and saying, I love you.
Yeah.
And you are worthy. And then I go on with whatever affirmation I'm going to give myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And mine changes depending on, you know, the stressors and whatever's going on. Yeah. Yeah. So Shay, do you want to read the first one? So this is specifically for our bodies when it comes to looking at the foods that we're consuming on Thanksgiving.
And that's very key, that just like that life, what's the word? Where it's passed down generation to generation, everybody's like, oh, we have to have turkey. We have to have, oh, well, that's the tradition, you know, and you hear that word, that's the tradition.
Yep, tradition.
Yeah.
Say that 3 times fast.
You know, oh, we did pass down. It's like, and I feel like our generation more is the like, okay, well, we don't have to do that way. Or if we are, I think just saying an affirmation, what a difference that can be.
Right.
So
traditions are hard.
Yes.
And they're rooted in a lot of trauma and expectation. And, you know, back in the day, those traditions were carried on because there wasn't another way.
Yeah.
You ate what you ate because that's all you had. Yeah. So we live in 2024 now. Let's change it up.
Yes.
And it's okay. Yes.
Ready for the change.
Yeah, for sure.
So the first one would be nourishing for body and soul. Mm-hmm. I am honoring and nourishing my body with foods that not only satisfy my hunger, but also enrich my soul. Each bite is a choice that reflects my commitment to well-being. Yeah. I love that last part of each choice reflects my commitment to well-being, because just saying this and being mindful of it, you slow down. Mm-hmm. You slow down. You're taking those smaller bites. You're chewing more. Mm-hmm. You're giving your body, you're honoring your body just even a little more. And then it respects that. And then it can slow down. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important, like Thanksgiving, it causes a lot of stressors because we're eating foods that we don't typically eat. We're eating an abundance of foods that we don't typically eat, or it's just like the overeating component of it, right? Which is big. And I think it's important for us to recognize that, and this is like something that I say all of the time, food in its whole form is not inherently good or bad. It just is. Right. And so if you're eating something that you perceive to be like, oh gosh, this is going to be 300 calories, because this is what I used to do. I would look at a food, I would look at something and I would say, sure, I'm going to eat this. And I know it's 300 calories. So that means I'm going to run 3 miles because then I'll burn the 300 calories. All my listeners out there, we are not punishing ourselves for the foods that we're consuming. Yeah. So when you eat foods that are outside of your comfort zone, stuff that you don't typically eat, stuff that you perceive as not the best for your body, then what I want you to do is I want you to envision that food is nourishing your soul or nourishing your mind. And that's okay. If you have to have that apple pie or pumpkin pie or whatever it is that's your favorite that you know isn't the greatest, it's one day. Yeah. One day is not going to cancel out all of the other days. When you start to get harsh on yourself of that, and I'm guilty of it, and that's something that I've been really working on, is that negative self-talk. Yeah, right. Like you're like, wow, you ate that? How could you? Now I got to go sit in the sun. Now I got to do all this. But yeah, if you simply like, okay, I'm going to nourish my soul here. My soul wants this. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to have one piece. I'm not going to sit and eat the whole pie. Right. And you'll feel good. Yeah. And then you're still like nourishing your soul, and your soul is happy. And then your mind is happy because you're not negative self-talking or beating yourself up. Right. And in turn, because your soul is happy and because your mind is happy and your stress levels are reduced because you're aware of the happiness that pumpkin pie or apple pie gives you, it's going to help your hormone levels. So when you think about food in that way and you think about, let me enjoy the experience and let me not have negative connotations behind the food that I eat, well, then you're already doing your hormones a favor because your cortisol levels aren't going to rise
from stress, it's going to help keep your body in that parasympathetic mode. I mean, whatever food you're going to consume, there may be like, your tummy might not think that it's like the best or your favorite, but it's going to be way worse if you put negativity behind it. And I mean, like the power of our mind is so significant. It is.
It's amazing just it's changing your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That has been, I think, my game changer in everything is like, I think last year I was like, all right, I'm keeping an open mind. Mm-hmm. I'm trying everything. What is it going to hurt to try things?
Yeah, absolutely.
And things have only gotten better and better and better.
Yeah. Yeah, because...
And that simple thing. And my mom has also jumped on that of like, okay, I'll try these things. And like we found sound bath meditation for her, and it's amazing. And then it's like, once you think about it, of course that would connect with her. She's a concert fanatic. She has piles of concert tickets. Like, oh, you found that thing that resonates with you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if you would have had the mindset of, oh, I'm not doing that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like, oh, what is that going to do for me?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We just need to be open to exploring other options. And, like Thanksgiving, we've kind of just always been like, oh, Thanksgiving. Like in America, it's like Thanksgiving. It's football.
Yeah.
It's turkey, mashed potatoes and gravy.
So much that everybody's sleeping on the couch.
Yeah. Or what is it? The cranberry in a can.
Oh. That's the one thing I've never, that was never my favorite. Yeah. Can.
Is it
your green bean casserole?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Green bean casserole is my favorite.
Yeah, I do.
I make my own though.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, like, you have all this stuff, like even trying to substitute, there's always an option that you can substitute just little things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You made one dish that you're like, okay, I'm going to try like a dish that I normally wouldn't try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's just, and that's what it's all about, is these making small steps.
Yeah.
Not like, okay, this Thanksgiving, I'm not eating any of this stuff and I'm going to.
No.
That's what the New Year's resolutions. People are like, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just add in one positive thing.
Yeah. And like, we're all able to come into Thanksgiving bringing a dish to pass or what have you. So even just introducing something that is more wholesome for your body without significantly ultra processed foods. I mean, you don't know what that could change. Like our green bean casserole, like I make a green bean casserole. I'm not using ultra processed foods. Like, what are those, the little French onion crunchy
oh
things?
my gosh.
Okay. So those like they're so delicious. Yes. I hate onions. I hate them. Okay.
It's a problem.
It's a serious problem. I swear I try and like it. I know. But for whatever reason, I'll eat those little stupid crunchy things. Okay. How silly is that? And that's such an ultra processed thing.
Yeah.
So last year I was like, how can I make this and it be healthy? So we used shallots. And then instead of a gluten-based flour, we used a gluten-free flour to bread them. And we fried them up in coconut oil.
Yeah.
And they were freaking delicious.
I'm sure.
And then we did bacon, and we used nitrate-free bacon. And we put that in there. And then I used a coconut milk base for the cream. It was and of course, real mushrooms. It was a full game changer.
Yes.
Everyone in my family, and they don't lean towards anything healthy. They're more of like the ultra processed family, which, like you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
They were shook by how delicious it was. And I was like, there was nothing ultra processed about that. It was all like, obviously it was processed because you do the process, but that was what we did, not what a store manufactured. There wasn't additional chemicals and additives in it. And that was like the favorite.
Right. And that's what's needed is somebody, we all know what we need to do.
Yeah, for sure.
We all do, you know, we all do. It's just either having the other knowledge or the support or whatever it is. But yeah, you bringing that dish didn't put stress on anybody to like, oh, I have to make something different.
Right.
All they had to do was try it.
Yeah.
And they tried it and they loved it.
And I was also just thinking, one of the things that my sister did that was a total game changer. And again, we talk about traditions. My family's tradition was to use dishes, like real dishes. And I know Shade's about to literally roll her eyes at me, but it's okay. What my whole point of this is like small steps, right?
Yeah.
It was so stressful to use these good dishes and to wash them by hand. And we have a gigantic family.
Yeah.
So I have 7 kids myself with my significant other. My sister has 4 kids with her significant other. My other sister has 3 kids with her significant other. Yeah, so right. And then you add my mom has 2 siblings and their families. And then we have my grandmother. I mean, we're talking like we probably have
25 right now.
Literally about 30-ish people that come to Thanksgiving dinner on my mom's side of the family. Okay. That's a lot of dishes and silverware and all of the things. So one year my sister goes, we're done. Yeah. We're not doing it. We're buying paper plates and plastic forks and we're going to throw away whatever. So that's what we did. But her having the ability to say it's unnecessarily stressful.
Yeah. Right. So
it changed everything.
So here's the teeter-totter. Yeah. Like the tradition was here, but your stress level was here. Yeah. And now you got the paper, which, I might not like to hear that, but you did it one time.
Right. It's not every single day.
We didn't change our lifestyle. Like, well, now we're only going to use paper plates and
plastic cups and whatever. Yeah. And one day
and then it was more enjoyable.
It was because then nobody was stressed about who's going to clean up what. Yeah. We have enough to clean up for 30 people in one area as it is. So like, why add the dishes component to it? And I mean, like we all helped and blah, 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 blah. But it was like, who wants to spend an hour or 2 hours cleaning up? Yeah. When it could be time that you would be spending with the family or just simply enjoying existing. Yeah. I mean, at that point, because you've already overindulged in all of the food that you're going to consume. So but like her making that conscious choice, like it drastically changed the way that we did Thanksgiving.
And it's not like, it wasn't a disrespect. I think some of the generation, our parents, to them, they'd be like, well, that's disrespect,
Yeah, my grandmother really, I mean, she struggled, poor
and you
thing.
Yeah, you struggled. Feel for them. I understand. I get where you're coming from. Yeah. But we also want you to see where we're coming from. Right. And see that, we all lived. Nobody died because we didn't use the china.
Dishes.
And come to life.
Seriously. And now my grandma, she's like, okay, well, it's not a big deal. Yeah. That first year was hard for her. She was just like, change. Well, and of course that generation. I mean, you're talking the generation of no change. Yeah. So, Grandma, if you're listening, I love you. Yeah. We're definitely not saying anything bad, but those changes, my grandmother would definitely not be listening to this. So I think we're fully solid. Because she also doesn't listen to podcasts. Hey,
there are any grandmas out there that are listening. Yes. We love you and support you.
Yeah, change is good. Yes. Change is great. But so, just even reversing some of, and that was such a minor thing, Yeah, but it made a giant difference. Yeah. So even just thinking outside of the box in terms of, traditions and, what holidays look like, as long as it's received with openness. And we're very fortunate because the only one in our family who struggled with it was my grandma, but had there been more significant pushback, it would have been different. And then we would have had to outweigh, what did that look like? Do we push back or do we let it go? What's it worth to us? Where's our peace level? And I think that that's something that we should all be navigating more is let's make choices that honor every boundary and component of us that gives us the most peace that we have available for the situation that we're in. Yeah. Which goes into respecting boundaries. Yeah. All right. So our next one is respecting boundaries. Shay, do you want to read that one?
Oh, sure. So respecting boundaries. I am upholding boundaries that protect my emotional and spiritual well-being, especially with the challenging family dynamics. My peace is paramount.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's okay.
What resonates with me is the changing family dynamics, because I think every single person everybody's got their different routine.
Yeah. And different perspectives. And this year is 2024, so we're in an election year.
Yeah, everybody
breathe. Isn't that so funny? We're both like, okay. So, that would be a really great boundary. So, like in my family, we have drastically different points of views. In our extended family, I should say, politics are off the table.
Yeah.
We are not going to talk about it. Period. End of discussion. One of the things that I would offer to our listeners is when somebody comes up with a topic of conversation that you don't appreciate, politics, for instance, if my single women out there, when are you going to settle down and get married? Or the women who have significant others, when are you going to have babies?
Yeah.
Or, whatever you have to navigate, literally looking someone in the eye and saying, oh, I'm so sorry. That's not something that I'm comfortable discussing. Thank you so much. Can we change the topic?
Yeah.
Direct. Look, we don't need to be angry or resentful. Most of the family.
And that's so simple. And I wish, I would like to have said that sentence.
Yeah.
Because I get that a lot. Yeah. Too, of when you have another kid and it's just if it happens, I'm just I'm one of those people that I'm dumbfounded sometimes when people ask me things, or I hear something and it's I'm saying it in my head, just I just don't even know how to respond right now. But that was such a good, simple, direct, like you said.
I don't want to talk about it. And you don't have to be mean about it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times that our human experience wants us to think about things in a negative in a negative connotation, right?
Yeah.
We instantly go to, of course Aunt Sally is asking me when I'm going to have another kid. That freaking old we instantly go to that. But instead, if we think about it in terms of what's Aunt Sally trying to get at? She just wants to connect with you. She wants to have a conversation with you. I mean, it could be well-meaning, you have a beautiful son. So of course, when are you going to have another beautiful kid, right? So just trying to change the narrative in your reality, right? Because most of the time, our family isn't trying to be intentionally cruel or mean. Now, of course, you have the ones that do.
Yeah.
Don't let them change you.
Yeah.
You're not going to be intentionally ugly back to them.
Yeah.
You're going to put your boundary in place. You're going to respect yourself. You're going to show them that there's a way to talk to someone that doesn't have ill intent. And maybe they'll second guess themselves for the next time.
Yeah.
So.
And I think some of the times these questions, it's just when you don't see people as much, or you just how's the weather?
Yeah, they're just trying to connect.
Yeah, just have a conversation, and it might not be that type of way. But you said there are some.
Yeah. I mean, I used to. Thankfully, we've kind of gotten rid of all the bad apples. But there were family members that I would very intentionally not speak to. And that was okay, because I just knew that I could not give them any component of myself. And I just respected my boundary of not being able to engage in conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just simply didn't. But yeah, and holidays are difficult.
Yeah.
They are. They're so hard because there's so many different components to it.
I say to everybody, they're like, what holiday? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, Halloween's over. There are no holidays. What are you talking about? But that's all my childhood stuff. I start to go back to, I stopped going to my family. I would be like, I want to go with my boyfriend to his family things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was little things like my aunt would nitpick my grandma and was mean to her. And I didn't like that. And it drove me nuts. Right. And I'm a kid. So who's going to listen to me?
Right.
You know? And now I look back on it like I could have said something just direct like that. Like, I don't appreciate the way you're talking to my grandma.
Yeah,
I don't
stop.
think, please stop.
Mhm.
Simple as that. But instead, I chose to just not be there.
Right.
And then now I have these negative connotations towards holidays.
Right. Yeah. And we all have
Something.
like those trauma triggers, right? And like sometimes like what's amazing is the recognition of it, right? You know that it's something.
Yeah.
So like, but what does that look like moving forward for you? Like, what do you want to come out of that?
Yeah.
Do you just simply not want to have holidays as part of your life? That's fine.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
Again, we live in 2024. If we don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving, if we don't want to celebrate Christmas, if we don't want to celebrate Valentine's Day, whatever freaking holiday it is, which we have one almost every damn month anyway.
I know. Well, that's
so if you don't want to have it, it's okay.
Right.
Then you let it go.
I feel like every day is a holiday. Like it's just a blessing. Like to be here, to have these experiences.
Absolutely.
Like, and me and my significant other, we're like that too. Like, you see the person on Facebook, like, oh, I love you. Like, so many years. And we always laugh because I'm like, I hope I'm not posting anything. Like, and he's like, I'm not going to post it about you either. Cause like, I love you.
Right.
Same with the holidays. Like, my family should know that I love them from me showing it every day. Not like, oh, Christmas is the only day that I can show I love the people around me by buying them gifts.
Right. Or like Thanksgiving being about gratitude. Like we should have gratitude every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like
it is a good reason to get together because I think
absolutely.
We need those things. Our life is just so busy that we need the reason to get together, but I just think some of the like concepts of it, like you said, the traditional thing, I can change it. I like that idea of like, I still want to get together. We might have different food options and like the affirmations, like that would be amazing to do with the whole family.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. Because it would shift the entire energy. And then it would bring you together in a different way.
Yeah.
Because I think that even for like our family members who are older, who are from different generations, when they go through Thanksgiving, I would imagine that their body also has reservations about getting together with family for whatever reason, whatever that looks like, whether it's present things that have happened in the last few years with shifting family dynamics or things of their past. I'm sure that their bodies feel stressed too, and they're showing it in a different capacity than what we're able to recognize. And I think that them being able to like just simply hold space with us in a positive way. Yeah. And Thanksgiving for everybody, I feel like looks a little bit different because, there are some families who are like, yeah, football, let's do it. Yeah. Like, and then everybody watches football together. That's amazing. If that's what everybody loves doing.
Yeah.
Great. Because we need more things to find connection with and less things to separate us.
Yeah.
And I also feel like we're just in a day and age right now where it's so easy to find all of the reasons why we're different and all of the reasons why we don't connect versus the reasons why we should be connecting.
Yeah.
But this is also the time to say, if you have family that does not serve who you are in present day, and there isn't any good that comes out of it, it's okay to remove yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to family Thanksgiving. You do not have to abide by any sort of traditional notion just simply because you are part of a family. I think that we put a lot of regulation on, oh, you have to go because that's your mom.
Yeah.
Or you have to go because that's your grandma. You have to go, that's your aunt. If that person is unworthy of your love and your attention and your presence, it is okay to not give that. And you're worthy of that. You are worthy of saying, you know what? Thanksgiving is one of those days that I just hurt and I'm so stressed about it. Start your own tradition. Your little family, your friends, your people that are most close to you,
your pets.
Literally anything.
Your cat. You can have your cat giving.
Yeah, right. Or it could just be another day.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have to be. Yeah. I think too, the height of it. Yeah. The hype. I'm very like the hype of things or just like, or like fads too. It's just like, I'm just like, I don't like, yeah, I want to be that step back, and that's okay.
Like
And
anticipation is too much. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and it is.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Like right now I'm thinking like, oh, I haven't gone to the grocery store, not for Thanksgiving, just like for regular. And I'm like, it's going to be crazy. Everybody's going to be out there. Things are going to be gone. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ugh, I just want some groceries.
Yeah. Yeah. And even just that is that's really hard. Navigating holidays with all of like the expectations, like for those of us who do have kids, like there's lots of like expectation on the children, like to be quiet or to be good, or oh, this person's not going to eat this, or your plate isn't cleaned off, or oh, they can't have dessert because they didn't finish their entire plate of food, or you're going to give Aunt Sally a big hug because she wants a hug.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't touch the knickknacks.
Oh my gosh. There's so so that's the thing that probably for me I struggle with the most. We have a Thanksgiving that we go to that is not kid friendly. And actually last year we did multiple holidays, and we had two places that were not kid friendly, and I was so sad for my kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not doing this again. So this year I have significant boundaries that I'm putting in place, and we're going to go to the Thanksgiving that we enjoy the most, and we're going to have our time that we enjoy in our house, and the other ones we're just going to say, oh, thank you so much for the invitation, but we're busy.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give my children, this is a good time to say that children are still little human souls, and we need to respect their boundaries, and what we teach our children today will be what they teach their children tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So like, they don't have to give hugs if they don't want hugs.
That's such a simple thing that resonates so much, like that I've with my son too. Like, if you want to give him a hug, you can. If you don't, that's okay. Like,
if you want to talk to them, you can. If you don't want to talk to them, you don't have to talk to them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if that person thinks that your kid is being rude.
Yeah.
Your kid has to feel comfortable, and they're just as much aware of their body and the signals that their body is giving us.
I swear they are. And then that's the time where we start if you're going the other way and you're like, telling them don't talk and this and a lot of the don'ts and no's, then they start to then those feelings go away.
Yeah. They don't trust their own intuition.
Yeah. And that's what we need.
We need to be fully connected and cognizant and aware and trusting ourselves.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people in today's day, it doesn't say how long we've been talking. Oh,
I forgot to look at the clock.
Me too. I hope we're not talking for a long time. If we are, maybe this will be a two-parter. I don't know, but it's
we got to do this one too.
Okay.
Okay. I'm like, oh yeah, we got to pick up kids from school.
Yeah, right. We do have to pick up kids from school. The whole thing is that we need to make sure that we're telling our kids that their emotions and feelings are valid.
Yes.
Because I think that we as adults struggle with trusting ourselves because we were invalidated for so long.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so let's do honoring. It actually ties it perfectly. It's so weird. I love it. We made this. So the Wellness Witches Whimsy podcast. These are our affirmations that we've created for our listeners. And they will be in the description for Spotify, and they will be in the description for YouTube. So really quickly, just make sure that you're following us on Spotify, and that's the Wellness Witches podcast. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the Wellness Witches Whimsy podcast channel. So we'll put those links in everything as well. And
thank you to everybody who's listened, followed, comment, like
the whole thing. We appreciate you guys so much. So Shay, take it off. We have honoring personal decisions.
This Thanksgiving, I'm fully embracing the decisions and choices that are best for me and my family. Our happiness and health are the top priorities.
Yes. Yeah. So these affirmations, we're just wanting to give it to you for guidance through the holiday season, and to make sure that you're giving yourself enough grace and self-respect, because you are worthy of it. You are beautiful. You are so much more than you even can imagine. And we just want you to go into Thanksgiving in whatever capacity that looks like for you. And whatever family gathering, whatever situation you're in, we want you to have an abundance of peace and joy and grace because you're worthy of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice to hear.
Okay. Bye. We love you.
Thank you for holding space with us. This marks the end of another enchanting journey on the Wellness Witches Whimsy podcast. We hope today's episode has sprinkled a little magic on your day and empowered you with the insights to elevate your wellness journey, mind, body, and soul.
Remember, the path to well-being is both an ancient art and science, a blend of ancient wisdom and modern knowledge. So keep your wands ready and your potions brewing until we meet again. May your days be filled with health, happiness, and a touch of whimsy until our paths cross again in the realm of wellness and wonder.
Please note that the content provided in this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Always seek the advice of your physician with any changes you want to implement. The views expressed by the hosts and their guests are their own and should not be considered replacement medical advice.